What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It's Tuesday night, May 7th. May 7th already. Spring has finally arrived here in Minnesota for this Florida boys, so I'm making it. Hey, I got Chris Eaton on tonight, the Fatman Nation, Snakes and the Fatman. If you somehow don't know Chris Eaton and you still clicked on the thumbnail, thank you. You'll get to meet him tonight. Hey, listen, fair warning. Maybe it's not the best family show. We're going to talk. What does Pat McAfee say on his show? Like, sometimes grown-ups talk like we're grown-ups. That's all it is. So anyhow, I know that sometimes families tune in and all of that kind of thing. So just heads up, it's not about Chris. It's about us hanging out together. And like I say, we might be grown-ups. I don't think we'll be out headhunting or trying to go out of our way to, annoy anybody or anything like that. But we might speak freely. So just a heads up there. I'm pumped to have Chris on the show. If you saw, he was kind enough to host me. It's only like 3-4 weeks ago. But I kind of had it in my mind to invite Chris to come on because he's just rebranded Snakes and the Fatman to the Fatman Nation. It's sort of an evolution. And I wanted to ask him about it, but I also thought back, and I'm literally, I get a little bit of chills here. When I first got into ball pythons and my wife was like, how are you going to sell these things? I was like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. Like, when you're excited and then somebody, your wife asks you a really rational question and you're like, I don't know. I don't want to be bothered by that right now. And I was like, shit, she's not gonna, this is going to be a problem if I don't answer this question. And this whole podcast thing, there wasn't many of them, or YouTube in general. So like Chris was out there doing his thing. A couple other people were out there doing their things, but not many. And then there was like Billy it wasn't a podcast, but Billy had regular content and Chris Hardwick had regular content, but there wasn't a whole lot. And I was like, I'm going to try this. I think there's a little bit of space here. And I think this is what I could, explain to my wife of how I'm going to sell these snakes one day. And this is how I'll build my brand. And I noticed always that, Chris's production, his thumbnails were professional. His production was good. It was creative. It didn't look like a 8th grade computer class, like probably my original videos did, maybe some of them now. But anyway, so I in that way, I looked up to him and Chris was good to me. What you all don't know, or maybe not know, is that I was that close to being on 15 Minutes of Lame and my own scheduling problems. I couldn't get on. And he finally was like, look, dude, just try again next year or whatever you got going on. And, I don't really understand the chef coat thing you do, but hey, maybe we'll talk about that. And then it never came to fruition, but we kind of reconnected through friends and all of that. And we've had a great time when we hang out. And I'm really glad to have Chris on tonight. Those of y'all that are interested in content and media and brand building, I don't know the specifics. We'll get into it tonight, but that is something Chris does professionally, both with the Snakes and the Fatman brand, but I think in everyday life as well. So there is some great content there as well. Also, what you may or may not know, I don't know how closely you all pay attention, but Chris puts on quarterly, what would you call it? Favorable or like priority charities or special focus on a specific charity each quarter. And I know the first quarter, I think they're called the Hero Company, but basically they're a company, and I don't know if company is the right word, a not-for-profit, whatever it might be, a charity that raises awareness to reduce veteran suicide. The number is too high daily, and too much of this stuff gets politicized or makes people choose a side or something. The end of the day, people taking their own lives from, stress and trauma caused by serving our country is horrible. So I always thought that was a really great cause. And then I heard some of the other causes, and the cause that he's working on this quarter is the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And what a great organization. It's weird to say they're iconic because it's such almost a sad situation that there has to be a children's hospital that's so important. When I worked for the PGA Tour, St. Jude's Children's Hospital was the adopted charity of TPC Southwind in Memphis. And so we did a lot of work with them, and I got to learn a lot about what they do. And I thought it was really amazing that Chris wanted to spend this quarter focusing on that charity, hopefully raising some money, doing some good. And what I wanted to, it just popped into my head this afternoon. I said, you know what? Let's do that tonight. So any super chat, any stickers, whatever all the things are that you can like throw money into the jar or however you do it digitally, all that's going to go straight to St. Jude's, including, and I'm talking about what you guys put in. I'm going to make up the fees that YouTube charges. Whatever gets donated is going to St. Jude's through Chris, through Fatman Nation. And hey, if it gets out of hand and I'm going to go broke on the fees, I'll talk to the sponsors. We'll get somebody to step up and fill the gap with me. But I am committed to that, and it'll be a beautiful problem if we raise so much that the fees get out of hand for me. So we'll remind you all of that tonight, but we'd love to see a couple super chats to kick things off on raising some money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Chris will be on in just a second. I have very few announcements. I'm not so unself-aware to think that I should have announcements rather than Chris. So we'll get them on really quick. Huge shout out to Ed and Emily from Snake Discovery. I've ended their show this weekend. What a cool thing, man. Good show. And for a breeder like myself, I got a few high-end things and I still got some entry-level things. Man, the pet show, the pet grade shows, caliber shows, really good. And I'm seeing some of those pet owners start to buy some breeder caliber. I tried to mix caliber and quality there. Caliber quality animals. All right, Timothy kicked it off. We got $20. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. Anybody that donates, give me that. Give me your brand if you want to do a little shout out for your Instagram or your Morph Market or whatever. Absolutely, I'd be happy to. Yeah. Hey, Jared, guess what, man? Yeah, it's there. I worked hard for it, pal. Jared, do you remember that time that Peyton Manning beat the Gators? Yeah, nobody does because it never happened, man. There we go. Holy cow. Troy wants to see what I'm made of with those fees. Yeah, baby. Hey, Troy, great job on your show. Thanks for the warm hospitality. You and Nick, you guys did a fantastic job. And I can't wait to see what you got going on. I know that you've got the Charlotte show coming up. That's All-American Reptile Plant Expo. There we go. You guys are going to see do you guys know what the YouTube fees are? You guys can, Jared owns me. Okay, that's fine. They're still horrible uniforms though. We got, Sugar Skull Serpents. Thank you very, very much. What is that? 150, 170 already that we got raised, man. That's awesome. Thank you guys. So what a great time. Good show at Ed and Emily's show. Don't underestimate the pet market. And it's a hell of a lot better than, selling all your lower end stuff at wholesale prices where you're just losing money kind of thing. So, but like I say, I think I averaged over $300 a sale at that show, which I don't know, maybe some of you scoff at, but the reality is you could sell 8-10 animals at $300 a pop. That's a pretty good day in the office. You know what I'm saying? I got new stuff coming up. Speaking of media, I'm going to do a little video of some kind of running Clutch versus Husbandry Pro. They do two different things, but they do have a little bit of overlap. And the overlap that they have is breeding and generational organization. And that's really, I'm an old kitchen guy, man. I can make a prep list a mile long when it comes to feeding. I know that I have my systems down for when I clean and flip and all of that. But pairing even 30 females, which is what I'm pairing this year, and then again keeping that generational organization and a database and organized, I'm going to run them head to head, redundant for the next 60 days. I'll do some documentation and full transparency on both ends. Clutch, I'm a full retail paying subscriber to it, so I pay out of pocket. I'm not affiliated with Clutch other than being a customer. And Husbandry Pro, we're working on a test pilot for an integrated marketplace on my own website So if you went to properroyals.com, my e-commerce site would reflect the data and the pricing and the animals in Husbandry Pro. So I am working with them on that project, but I've been very clear that I would, before we did any other further business, I've never used the product, so I got to explore the product. But obviously to get snakes for sale through Husbandry Pro, I have to use it and enter my animals in. So I figured, while I wouldn't say totally unbiased, but I've biased towards both because I've experienced both. I'm going to document that. I will share that. Check out the LinkTree. You'll see links for Morph Market, Patreon, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Thanks to the new Patreon members this week, couple new members. One I have to add, the name is Brillium, but I have to learn who that is. But they joined yesterday, and I did not get the chance to catch up with them today. Last but not least, shout out to Perry at Soda Balls. That's soda as in Minnesota, SOTA, Soda Balls. Check out Soda Balls. Perry has a great farm, maybe 10, 12 miles here from me. And those of y'all that watch my show, and I'm an old kitchen guy, I love morel mushrooms. And springtime in Minnesota or in the mountains in North Carolina, anywhere where there's 4 seasons seems to be, you could get these morel mushrooms, but you can only get them for about 2 weeks a year. And the morels are here now. And he took me out foraging, and we got on some. It's like it'd be like if a fishing guide took you out and got you on this, the biggest fish or the greatest fish you ever want to catch, man. That's how I felt yesterday. And let me tell you, not too many people share their spots. So thanks, huge thanks to Perry. I'll be out exploring on my own this weekend, hopefully with lots more to come. Chris Eaton from Snakes and the Fatman. What else can I say? If you don't know him, you should. You're going to get to meet him. I really think he is an icon in our industry, and I say he's a little bit like the Yankees. You might love him, you might hate him, but he's certainly relevant in everything that he does. And he is a pro. And for the record, he's been a very, very good dude to me. Jeremy Bod jumping in with $20 as well, man. That puts us over the $200 mark already. Thank you very, very much, Jeremy. Matter of fact, Jeremy was the very, very first person that made the introduction between me and Chris. How cool was that? So from there, without further ado, please welcome back to the Proper Royal stage, Chris Eaton. What's up, Chris?
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I am good.
Happy to be here. And let me just say that whatever you have to pay in fees, I will match for the super chats tonight.
There we go. There we go. It all goes to a good cause. And thank you, man. That would be very, very cool. And I think you meant to put it towards St. Jude's, but yeah, not to me. Put it towards St. Jude's. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. There we go. Very cool, man. One thing I didn't get to ask when you, by the way, thanks for having me on your show. It was a huge pop for me. And like, just to see my face on your thumbnail was this cool thing, man. I got to admit, man, it was really cool.
That is one of my favorite shows that I've ever done. And that's, and I think it showed too, because the amount of people that told me that was one of their favorite shows was unbelievable. I mean, more than, more than any of the big snake breeders or anything like that. I think that people in our community like just seeing people talk about things that they're hot about, and that's, it was a fun show, man. It was a fun show. So, yeah, thank you for coming on, man. I mean, we went for almost 2 hours. And
yeah, we went right at it.
We could have went 3 or 4,
Yeah, exactly. I had actually just this weekend at that show I was vending, Rick, I think he's in the audience, Creative Corolofis. He came up and he was like,
"Oh, Dick, yeah."
Yeah. He was like, "Man, that was the best show." And I was like, "I don't know. We were just kind of geeking out over guitars." And that's exactly what he said, Chris. He was like, "Well, yeah, but you guys were so into it, and it was cool just to see you guys talk about it. It was like, just people bouncing ideas off each other that are really into what they're talking about." And so, yeah, it does resonate, and it's hard to know. Sometimes, like, we put so much effort into like staying on topic and what we're supposed to be talking about. Sometimes you just got to let things go where they go, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. One of the main reasons I did the rebrand, so I totally get it.
Well, all right. So before we jump into that, because I forgot during the live show, and I think we've gotten, where I can ask this question. Are you really? It's Chris and Krisha. It's the same thing. That's where we're at here. It's the same.
Yeah.
Like,
What I started the year was I was like, listen, I'm so incredible and preeminent, as you called me, that I'm only
Scrabble word, which was great, by the way.
I'm only gonna date girls with my own name. Okay, so because I was on a kick for a while back, like 5 or 6 years ago, where I was like, I'm only gonna date girls with accents, right? And and that was a cool thing, it was cool, it was fun, but that same accent that you think is adorable and sexy gets annoying after 2 minutes when you're arguing, when you're arguing, it's just so annoying. And I was dating like everyone from Southern chicks to Czechoslovakian chicks and Russian chicks, and I would just be like, yeah, I can't do this, because I automatically make it personal, and I'm like, this is what happens when you have to spend your life waiting for 5 days for a loaf of bread or something like that, or toilet paper, and that didn't work out, but luckily, Chris is cool, English, okay, not much of an accent. I mean, a little bit of an Oregon accent, but I could deal with that.
What you mean? English, like speaks English like an American, or like she's
yes,
British?
Yes, and it's
okay.
not like like I. This is gonna sound so bad. I like Eastern European girls, right? But either Eastern European girls are either the most gorgeous girl that you've ever met or the most hideous girl you ever met. There's no like in between, Eastern European girls. So, I happen to luck out with a gorgeous girlfriend and, one who supports everything that I do, and actually met her because of the show. So,
I don't know her, and that's why I felt bad bringing that up, because usually like you want to have a rapport with somebody before you give them shit or whatever, or bust their chops. But she does seem cool, and honestly, like the smiles you two had together on like your zoo trip that you took, and even when we were booking the show, you're like, hey, look, I might have to be out in Oregon if I if I can do it, and I was like, hey, I get it, man. So anyhow, I wish the best to you all, and thanks for having a little bit of fun with me. But I was like, when I rewatched the show, I was like, it's the same damn name. It's just a girl version of it.
Yep. It's she's Chris with a ha. And and it was funny, just recently when she came over, we met Donato for breakfast, right? And we were at the restaurant first, and Donato walks in and says to the the woman up front, the hostess, he's like, yeah, I'm looking for a retarded guy and his daughter. And that's how we found me in the restaurant, so it's fun, it's fun. So it's a good time, and it's definitely a good thing.
Good, man. Not to get too deeply personal, how's the long distance thing? Is that something new for you, or that you're used to?
No,
or,
I dated a girl. It's new for her. I dated a girl in San Francisco for 5 years while I was in New York, and we would go back and forth every month for 10 or 12 days, and so I'm a little bit more used to it than she is. Also, my first wife was from Anaheim. I say my first wife like I had three. I only had one wife, but she was from Anaheim, and I met her on AOL. On AOL, and we
early days
a couple of times. Yeah. So I'm used, I'm used to it, but the world is like so small now.
Yeah.
Right? It's much smaller than when we were growing up. When we were growing up, somebody in Florida or Wisconsin would be like, that's going to be impossible. I can't do that, but now it's just like, you get on a plane for $300 or $400 and you're there, so.
Right. And I mean, I don't know specifics, but being able to work in different places, internet connectivity, all
Right.
that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it all makes it good. Well, good, man. I'm happy for you. I hope, well, keep it up. I'll just say it that way, man. Try not to screw it up, Chris. How about that?
Yeah. No, I'll do my best, pal. All
Okay,
right.
good. So tell us, we'll start at the end, I guess, then, since you brought it up. Tell us about this rebrand. Where did that come from, and like why? What needed to, maybe not what needed to change. What was the itch that you needed to scratch that you were like, I got to change things up?
Really, it started in like 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I had bought the fatmannetwork.com, right?
Okay.
And you know, I was going to do something there, had some health problems, didn't end up doing it, ended up putting it up on the side. But we were, you know, going into different shows and doing non-snake related things. And I can't be that guy like that you are, right? That guy that you are, or MJ. Like I can't honestly come across on my videos saying like, this is my life, I love this, you know.
Well, yeah.
because it's not. And I think that if I would have kept trying to do that, it would have shown, you know, with the people that did like me. Like, I didn't want to lose the fans that I already had. And also I just have other interests, man, you know, besides this. And a lot of these people have other interests, and a lot of other people, you know, are coming into like the comedy shows or the political difference shows, you know. So I figured I had a base. Let me just see what could happen, and I was like, yeah, man, maybe I'll just do something a little bit different, man. And then MJ came out with his Trap Talk Network, and then I was like, fuck. Sorry, I was going to try and do the whole show without cursing.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
but I was like, you know, like shit. Now it's going to look like I'm copying MJ, right? But you know, so that's why I changed everything to the Fatman Nation, and I just thought it really, like I'm not to sound like a pompous jerk off, but I'm not in competition with you guys. Like,
right.
Anything you guys do and anything I do is a totally different show. Like, on every show that I do, I don't care if, you know, 20 people are watching. My goal is to make them laugh a little bit and make like a crappy week a little bit better, because they're like, hey, did you hear that ridiculous thing that fat bastard said? Yeah, you know, but like, and that's all I want to do. But then I've also found that over the years that hurt me a little bit, because I was kind of like viewed as like the clown that knows nothing about the industry. And, you know, he just, you know, he has a dick and fart joke strip mall podcast, you know. And even though I was bringing on people like Ralph Davis, like, you know, Will Banks, like, you know, all these other big shots. But so really I wanted to start kind of explaining to people that I do know a hell of a lot about this hobby, and you know what you guys are going through now is the closest to the end that I've ever seen it. You know, for instance, Steven put out a video, Leviathan put out a video a couple of days ago about like the 3 best things show promoters could do to help young people, you know, get into shows and sell their animals and all that. And I was disagreeing with every one of the things that he said. You know, like he made it a point to be like, you know, you could come in and you could sell your lower end pet animals, you know, like pet ready animals. And I was like, right away, like, that's not going to work, you know, because the bigger people, you know, mid-level people, they already became hip to that. The pet market was something, and they're going to, you know, bring those lower end animals too to every show. So the young guy getting in it just now, I think unless he's a marketing genius and is willing to do YouTube and Twitter and or X or whatever the hell it's called, and you know, TikTok and Instagram, and unless you're willing to put in you know, as much time with that as much as the snakes, I think if you're coming into it this year, you don't have a chance. I think if you came into it 2 or 3 years ago, you're the last group that had a chance to make it just and level, because all the secrets are already out there, and it used to be like you could say, oh, the pies dropped to $300, but I could sell, 300 pies a year, and I'll make 90 grand or whatever it is. I don't know if my math is right. Okay,
that is right. You hit it on the head there. Yeah, trust me, I've done that math. That's the exact right math. Yeah.
So, but it's like you have a ton of people trying that now. Like unless somebody comes in new with these newly inventive ways of doing things, I don't see the ball python hobby recovering for probably a couple of years. I mean, it'll always be there. There'll always be guys like Justin and Miguel and Brittany and making these insane things that people want to attach. But the pet people aren't going to buy those. Who's going to buy those? The people that sold the pet people, and the bigger people, to get the profit to afford these $12,000-$15,000 animals, and I just don't see a lot of that happening.
I think I got a little different perspective. I think you're right, though, on the innovative part. You got to come up with something different. And even I'll use myself as an example. It's no secret why there's 5 logos above my head and 2 banners below my head. Like you got to make ends meet in other ways. And I think that you can. Something I was stubborn about all along, though, was not going into debt. I at least don't have debt to service, and I still have my retirement. So like, even if it goes to hell, I got a little something to fall back on, and I can jump back into a career. But you're right. I think things have to get reimagined. But I think there'll always be something reimagined. I think, every generation, I think, says, oh, these kids don't know how to work and they're idiots and everything's going to hell. And every generation lives longer and gets richer and has faster cars or whatever, So somebody will figure it out. But to your point, I don't think any of it's easy money. I think there was that little blip of a window on the radar where things got easy for people. And I'll admit, I was blinded by it. I was like, holy shit, man, if somebody's making this kind of money, I could figure out how to make some of that kind of money, Right. But it's I joke with myself, man. I'm staring at my big sink over there. I spend probably 30 to 40% of every day just standing in front of that sink, scrubbing snake shit out of tubs. Yep. And I can't remember, maybe it was you I was joking with, but I joked with somebody. I was like, 30 years after starting as a dishwasher in Ruby Tuesday, here I am standing in front of a dish pit right there again.
Yep. That's what I kind of did the same thing where when I told my father that we were starting a ball python company, I mean, just the look of disappointment on his face. Like I felt it, right? I felt it. And we did fairly good. We put in 250. We probably took out around 6, maybe 6 or 7. And we did well. But I tell people every day, I'm like, there is such a big difference between pulling out a tub and taking a picture of your animal because you want to, and pulling out the tub and taking a picture because you have to. And as soon as you feel like it's a job, that's when it starts being like, I don't know if I want to be doing this. I can't go away for more than 5 days. I have to have people taking care of my stuff. And we had a shop with 600 animals in it, and it was just it became a job a lot sooner than I thought it would. And look, I'm not saying everybody, okay? I'm saying that probably 95% of the people are not going to make it, right? I mean, you have, I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but you have no hope in making it. I've met you, okay? And I'm sure you're at the same stage where you've been doing it long enough where someone's like, I pulled my retirement out, I'm going to invest 120 grand into ball pythons. And you talk to that person for 3 minutes and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I would have did that if I was you. Because right away, most of the time, the people who are going to make it and who are going to fail at it,
Yeah. And
I know this is so contrary to what your show is about. And, I think that the people who have been in it for 3 to 5 years, they have to, as well as the the original people that have been doing it for 20 years. They have to sell the dream, right? Like you have to sell the dream to new people. And you know, maybe in selling that dream, some kid will come up and you know, say, all right, I'm going to do things a little different. But it didn't happen with that dude that invested $1 million into it when he was 14. Okay. He's been out of, I mean, he lasted a year. Okay. And he was like, yeah, to hell with this. I'm not going to be in this business anymore, you know? So it's, and that dude had unlimited money. That dude killed a $50,000 scaleless and went out and just bought a new scaleless. And, you know, and the thing I said to him when I was talking to him, I was like, dude, wouldn't it have been better to kill a $30 pinstripe? All right. Now, not to be a jerk, but fucking, don't you think that would have, you know, set you back a little less and you would have learned something? And he didn't care. He was like, I'll just buy another scaleless from Wilbanks. And Wilbanks loved that kid, you know? So
that is a distant situation.
Yeah. But
I'm cutting in and out. I'm going to switch my.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to switch my internet really, really fast. Yeah. Thanks for carrying me for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. No problem. But that's what'll happen. Like maybe there'll be another version of that kid who gets $1 million to invest in a ball python thing, and the kid does it right.
Check now.
Yeah. There you go. That's a
how about better. Now?
Yep. You're good.
All right, there we go. Cool. Thank you, man. Sorry everybody for that. Yeah, I think that you have to have I think I think everybody's got to have like some sort of secret weapon or secret experience or secret way that they can, I don't know if last is the right word, but really it's about riding the ups and downs. And like, I still freak out if 4 or 5 days go by and I don't get an inquiry. And I'm like, what am I going to do kind of thing? But I've stared it down with seasonal work and restaurants were such a thin margin. Like most businesses actually make a whole lot more than I've ever been used to making. Now, not personally, you know, fortunately I always had a salary. It was never my own money in a restaurant. I would put money into ball pythons before I would tell somebody to put money in a restaurant like that. How you feel about ball pythons is how I feel about restaurants.
No, I would probably agree with you because I know people that have owned restaurants and they're like, yeah, I worked 400 hours this week and I made $13. And I'm like, man, you know, that's good. You're not going to be able to handle that. And I'm not saying that people coming in now don't have a chance in 2 or 3 years to make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, right? Which is a good side hustle at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But if you make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 one year, and then the next year you make $15,000 because of the market or because of you didn't keep up, like that's a significant dump in you know, in your income, and you better just put your money away for the next couple of years. Any money that you do make, you know, because just keeping these things is going to cost you money. You know, I mean, we're spending, you know, $2,000 a week on rats, you know, when we had our place. So it's like, and I know it's gotten a little bit better now, but I just don't feel like, let me put it this way. The people that have the Justin dreams are 10 to 20 years out. The people that have the $30,000, $40,000 a year thing, they're probably 6 or 7 years out. But they're definitely 6 or 7 years out, you know, unless you're like Miguel and you come in with, you know, a ton of money and you have mentors that like elite mentors, you know, I just don't see you guys doing much, especially since I'm seeing all the shit produced by a lot of these people. You know, I mean, these people are producing snakes that we were producing in 2017. You know, 2015. So I just don't see it, you know, coming. And people are learning that when, you know, I see 30 complaints about nobody's buying my morph, you know, nobody's looking on my morph market every day, you know, from people. So
I think that I think people got still have this mindset that as long as you just post on Morph Market, something magic's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Morph Market's amazing. Like the reach of Morph Market, like you were probably doing stuff and certainly aware of the days of like, what was that? Fauna and King Snake.
And King Snake. Yeah, those were the worst. Yeah.
Oh my God. So like Morph Market definitely, I would say improved, but fixed that problem. I would say it fixed it. Nobody's done it better. A few people have tried. And, you know, I think Billy's Husbandry Pro thing is going to take a stab at it. And Justin's got his clutch thing trying to take a stab at it. But to your point about things being years, it's years out before those are going to make a dent in what Morph Market's got going on. But then I think people panic. They're like, well, that's not working. I just need to auction stuff or they might not have, I mean, they might not have time. If you got a full-time job and a family and kids at home, you don't want to be out vending on the weekends. You don't want to be writing, you know, Facebook ads or a show like this. Like we were, I forget which show it was. One of either when you were coming on or I was going to yours, like, we're both like, oh shit, it's always right at the last minute because you got to make the show, you got to write the show, you got to send the links, you got to check all your boxes, you know. So if you don't have that space and time, it's that those are kind of when I was saying earlier about like you got to have your secret weapon or insight, like the brutality of the restaurant industry. Plus, I don't have any of that other stuff right now. Like I'm making enough to get by that I don't need that other stuff. That gives me the opportunity to go, but most people can't do that. And for that, I'm thankful, but I'm also like 51% feel good about what's going on, but that could change depending on the hour of the day, you know? So, yeah. So there's like Jeremy says, you know, we're all looking forward to hitting that super pastel banana spider, you know? That's
yeah,
it's gonna be that's gonna be the home run hit right there.
We could dream. Okay.
Right. Yeah. One day if we're lucky, man. Chris, take me back to how did Snakes and the Fatman start? Was that the start? Did you do media as far as snakes in the industry or reptiles before then, or media outside of like your day job?
No. It started. And I think most of my people know this. It started because of Sean Bradley. Like Sean Bradley had bullshit, right? And I thought this is, you know, interesting. And but Sean would always be Sean, and Sean would have like these huge people on, and he would just interrupt the hell out of them and just start making it the Sean show, right? So I was one of those people that I was like, all right, I think that I could do this better. And I could have on these same people because I know them all too. And I could let them talk. Okay. And that's what it was all about. It was just like, Mike Wilbanks would go on a Sean show and I would call up Mike and say, I didn't learn a goddamn thing about you because Sean kept interrupting you. Come on my show. I'll let you talk. And these people came on, and that's when it really like kind of took off because it was, it was just letting the big people talk, like just you know, like it's something that me and Sean still argue with to this day. I'm just like, dude, you just don't know when to shut the fuck up. Like fucking just shut the fuck up and let somebody else shine. Like I'm a big believer in just because you know my light's not going to get faded just because somebody else is shining, you know, right next to me. So just you know, come on and give these people a chance to actually tell their stories, because a lot of these original reptile guys have, I mean, these insane stories about you know paying $40,000 for a snake from a photocopy that you received from a dude in Africa. You know,
they were like shipped in like a phone, like a carved out phone book. They're shipping snakes in. Yeah, like it was like 40 grand after sending cash in the same phone book.
Right. And getting them and hoping that the dude in Africa that you never met, like one of these Nigerian prince emails, actually comes through with the penis enlargement pill, right? Like it's just like, oh man, I hope this is going to be all right. You know, the chances that everybody took back then are so different now, especially with all the policing and everything that Morph Market does. There's not a lot of you could get ripped off, but if you get ripped off now, like you have to be an idiot to, you know, to get ripped off nowadays. What all the things in place to protect you from that. Not saying that there's not people out there every day saying somebody ripped me off, but you know, that's usually the dude that's taking a picture of his ball python on a snowman in December. Yeah, you know, so you already know you don't like that guy, you know. So but yeah, I mean, that's how it started. And then it was just audio back then, you know,
Yeah,
and it was so much easier to edit, you know, than doing video. And it's funny because for my Patreon now, I'm gonna do a just audio podcast, and the first guest that I had on Snakes and the Fat Man is coming back to do another audio podcast on my Patreon.
Wow,
So,
who is that? Oh no, if you don't want to let the cat out of the bag, that's
no, I'll give initials. RDR. Okay. So.
Okay. All right. Your secret's safe with me because
yeah, it's so funny. You can tell you're a new guy because you're like, I don't know that. Like,
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to figure out how to keep the humidity above 50%. You know. All right. Well, then, and that's going to be Patreon only, though, right?
It's going to be only Patreon because I really got to step up my Patreon game and do things for the people that have been supporting me for years. You know, so we're also having a bunch of different contests run for just Patreon people, where you know, we're having you know, Charlie offer prizes from Gray Rider. We're having Redline offer prizes. We're having Chimera offer prizes. So it's going to be pretty fun, and it's easier to win a contest when you're 1 out of 30 or 40 than it is when you're 1 out of, you know, 800.
That's right.
So that's why, you know, I'm hoping the Patreon would kick in. And to be honest, you know, I don't breed like you guys. Like I need a way for this show and this Fatman Nation thing to pay for itself. Because God knows I don't want to pay for every little damn thing. I mean, you know how it is here. A fucking lens, shit, sorry. A lens will cost you $800.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't want to go into my pocket every time. So with the Patreon stuff, I just make the promise that, you know, come join, you'll laugh, and every dime that I make from Patreon goes back into the show in some way.
Oh, nice.
So
I think Steven Tyler said something one time like, you have no idea how expensive it is to look this homeless.
Oh yeah, you have no idea. Yeah, you know, it's hard. It's hard work, right?
That's right.
Right. Like, remember, even in White Men Can't Jump, he's like, it is hard goddamn work to make something that looks this jumpy. You know, be a professional. So it's fun, but luckily I've been around long enough where people know, like, I'm not going anywhere. You know, I spent, you know, 8 months in the hospital over 2 years, and I still come back. I'm like a roach or like a fungus on your foot that you can't get rid of. You know.
I won't call you Keith Richards yet. You got a long way. You got to last a little bit longer.
Dude, there's no way I'm lasting until Keith Richards' age. All right, no way.
I can't believe they're touring, man. It's like,
yeah,
God bless them. And literally, like, they're my favorite band ever. But even I can't even bring myself to go see them right now. I'm like, man,
dude, I can't bring myself to go to my car in the parking lot. Like, and this guy's doing 30 cities in fucking 2 months.
Right?
And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know how you do it, man.
I mean, I just want to dream. I could only dream about making it there. But yeah, well, God bless them. And, you know, so and you just talked about it some. How valuable is, and here's why I ask, because I start to think, I look back on my career, some of this was this way too. How much of it is just not quitting? Like, have you gotten
everything?
Have your chops gotten better the more and more you've done it just because you wouldn't quit?
Yeah.
Or like, I mean, there's value in keeping going, right?
I have a love for doing it too, because you know, this is like technically a technical thing. My job and the day job is a technical thing. Like this is my fun time and you know, fun things to do. And do content, and I have to do content for my day job too. So it's just stuff that I enjoy doing. Luckily I found a day job that pays enough where this can just be a fun thing. And I don't have like deadlines to meet or any hard deadlines or anything like that. But I definitely want to do in the next year TV quality stuff, like unscripted TV quality stuff, not just popping up a Logitech webcam and doing doing interviews all day.
Yeah.
Because I think the sponsors deserve more than that. Because when people just run by a sponsor in like 4 seconds, like nothing pisses me off more than that, especially when you charge them like $1,500 or $2,000 a year, and you're like, you get 3 seconds of my time. I just hate stuff like that. So, and the majority of my sponsors have kept with me for 8 years. I mean, Morph Market dumped me like a bag of shit, but fucking it's okay. All right. It's okay. Morph Market didn't dump me until the new guy came in. And then the new guy had different political views than me, and he dumped me like on a DM. Okay. And then as soon as he sent a DM, he blocked me like a bitch. Okay.
What?
Yeah. So
he doesn't block anybody. He blocked you?
No, he totally blocked me. I got a DM the day after Bronx Down Under, right? Where I had Luke and Brian on. And we were making fun of some trans things, or not even making fun of it, just kind of commenting on it. And I got a DM from Darian the next day. It said, just so you know, Morph Market is no longer sponsoring any podcast, right? So I was like, oh, that's a lie, all right? Because I had just talked to Cusco. I had just talked to some other people. And I said, okay, no problem. We had a good run. I'm sorry you felt that way. And I hit send, and it said, user not accepting messages from you at this time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll block, like if somebody's going out of the way, like screwing up the chat or screwing up something in Patreon or like screwing up the experience for other people. Yeah. I don't have any patience for that. If it's a one-on-one conversation,
yeah,
you're going to run away. Like what? That doesn't make any sense. Right. And like, even the stuff I was just talking about, I'll just like, again, I've ran restaurants where you don't think that I had a team of 30 people that 15 of them didn't like the other 15 of them.
Right.
Like we can let the kids play. It's fine. Well,
Antoine said something to me. Antoine Hood said something to me that really stuck. He's like, if I didn't fuck with other people that other people don't like, I would have nobody left to fuck with. Right.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, he's right. But you know what, the bitch thing that Darian did do, aside from blocking me and all that, is when they put together a GoFundMe when I got my leg chopped off, he went on and gave $1,000 to the GoFundMe. I think just to prove that like he wanted to be the better guy, the bigger guy, So I took that shit and spent it. Right, I don't care. Fuck him.
I was gonna say for $1,000, I'll whatever.
I don't care about the reason. I'm just like, yeah, okay, good, right,
right.
Yeah.
I saw. I forget who it is. The guy that wrote the, what's that book? How to Give Zero Fucks or whatever it's called. Anyway, he had a post that actually was pretty good. He said, probably the secret to business and relationships is being impossible to offend. Like so many people spend so much time like hurt and pissed off. And look, there's reasons for people to, like, I got it easy. I'm a straight white dude in America, middle class. Like of anybody that's not going to get offended, it's probably me. I got it easy. But his point was like, so we spend so much time looking for reasons to be furious rather than just getting on with our shit and rocking and rolling, Anyway, it really resonated with me, but
you're a musician, right? Because I remember when our record came out, the majority of people were saying good things.
Mhm.
Man, but you really concentrate on that one dude that's like, you guys suck.
That
Where did you learn
yeah,
to play? Well, like
right.
you really just focus in on that. And the older I get, the more I don't care.
Right.
But the older I get, the more I think, listen, if you're gonna take a shot at me, make it funny. Like at least
Right.
make it funny, because if you make me laugh, then I'm not going to be offended.
Right.
But the fat legless jokes, I mean, that's really low hanging fruit.
That's
Like,
yeah, you gotta go second level on
right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, fat is in the name, for Christ's sake. Like like come on, man. All
You
right.
already disarmed that one. Yeah, that's not that you can't do that. Yeah, I mean, anyway, right.
It was funny because I was having an argument with MJ one night, and he's told this story on another podcast. So I
Say
feel
that's
like,
just a Tuesday night, right?
well, yeah, he was, because what he tried to do was he tried to have somebody on who won my contest. He tried to get them to disparage the contest, right?
Gotcha.
So I was like, fuck you, man. You have mental issues or whatever. And what I didn't know is that triggered something with him. And his response back to me was like, fuck you, at least I have two legs, right? And dude, I died laughing. Like we just made up the next day. We're just like, yeah, everything's cool with us. And he's like, I'm really sorry. I felt so bad right after I said it. And I was like, no, I'm like, it's cool. Don't worry, because it made me laugh,
Yeah.
And I definitely have enough of a thick skin where I could, I could listen to people's criticisms. Odds are I'm not going to listen to you, but I still, if you make a point and it wins out over something in my head, then I'll probably do it.
Well, and I think so. So for a long, and you probably have heard some of this. Like a couple people, people will be like, "Man, it's weird seeing you and Chris together because I thought you guys were so different." And what I try and tell people is authenticity and being yourself in your own skin is really, that's what I like about people. The people that can do that, what's more exciting than that? I don't have any bullshit to sift through. I don't have to wonder what's real and what's not. It's authentic and it's there. And you were talking about that earlier too, on why the rebrand and why you decided that, hey, I could try and put this show on, but I'd feel like I was faking it versus being myself. And when I tell people that, then they're like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And I'm like, yeah, that's all I'm really after is interesting people. I don't need, unless if I think you're evil, then then I'm not going to deal with you. But other than that, like,
right.
Shit.
Full disclosure, you took some shots at me, right? You took a couple of shots at me.
Not explicitly.
Not explicitly.
But Tuesday night, what the hell was going on? What Tuesday night at 8:00? You couldn't find one other hour?
Well, that's only because that worked out. Because you got to remember, 18 hours is Australia time, 18 hours ahead. So that was the only time that he had free, because it was like during his lunch work time, And but I remember you were taking shots at me where you were like, yeah, people aren't coming on because they're being on somebody else's show, and they got to kiss
telling
the
people
ring.
they couldn't come on for 6. They were like, you give them like an exclusivity window, they said.
Well, yeah, that's part of my thing. Like anybody that's going to be on 15
I still think that's bullshit to this day. Then,
but you know why it's not bullshit? Because having people on, 2 or 3 different shows in a month does nothing for any of us. Not for you, not for me, not for the person that comes on. So it just does nothing. So for the 15 minutes of lane thing, I just had people sign an agreement or agree to an agreement. There's nothing I could hold them to, really. That you won't be on any other shows 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after. Because if I have one guy on and then you have him on the next week, you may talk to different things about him than I would ask. But it's still the same guy and the same face. And if a third person interviewed him within that month, you're just like, what the fuck, man? Like come on. Like I thought, being on my show was a bigger deal, than that.
Well, so there was 2 instances where the people were upfront, and I didn't like it, but they were upfront about it. But the one you're talking about the kiss the ring thing, somebody was on the schedule, and then they canceled on like 3 days notice on me. And that's what, then I was like, fuck you, fuck him. And I, that one, that was the one that pissed, like, the other two were Steven and Brandon Nixon. They were like, look, it's important. It's this 15 minutes of lame thing. I'll come on the show, but I can't come on until later. And I was like, oh, that's annoying, but fine. At least you're up front. The third person, and I'm not even gonna say, oh, they still pissed me off because even when I called them on it, they were like a dick to me. And I was like, all right, maybe this was a blessing that you didn't come on the show. So, but that's what that one was. Cause I was like, all this time, the show prep, the booking, it's wasted. And I was like, yeah, that one I was pissed off. So
yeah, no, it was funny. It was funny the way you were doing it. You like kissed the fucking ring of this guy. It was like the one time you cursed on your show. And I was just I wasn't mad or anything. I was just laughing. I was just like, this is funny. He's mad. But I wish that other people would do that because, you know, like, this hobby has grown so big that you don't know. There's 40 shows on Reptiles a week, you know, on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, so you I don't care who you are, you can't watch all of them, except maybe if you're like Sugar Skull or Shauna. They seem to be in every.
There's a couple of them. Yeah, there's a few people, man, and I thank God for them. Thank God for that audience.
Yeah, I love them. But you don't know who's, you know, like somebody's going to say, oh, by the way, I'm on Kenny's show next week. And you're like, who the fuck is Kenny? Right. And you're like, no, you can't be on Kenny's show, dude. You know? So it's, you know, it's just something that I found that works for me, especially as the contest like became more important to people. Because like 2 years ago, I realized, I was like, wow, this is a big thing to people now. So let's just do it fairly professionally. I will tell you one thing: I don't make my main guest sign an agreement, you know, because how would I look asking like Crutchfield, you know, like hey, you can't go on any other shows? Crutchfield would be like, go fuck yourself, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Well, for a little while, I would like when people would agree to be on. I'm like, look, if the schedule's going to change or you can't be on, just let me know soon enough. And a few people were like, what the fuck are you talking? I would tell that person to go fuck themselves. I was like, yeah, that's right. You remember that, man. And then I've stopped even bringing it up. I'm like, what? There's always going to be another Tuesday, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's what I kind of feel. But also, like, I try and book 15 minutes like 6 months out.
Right.
Because it's easier, you know. And now that I'm doing it live every week or every 2 weeks, it's more important that the guests show up. So now I see where you're coming from, where you're like, dude, you know, we talked about this a month and a half ago. Like this coming show, I had the main guest cancel and the 15 minutes guest cancel. So the 15 minutes guest, I'm like, fuck you, never again, you know. But I got to get a replacement, you know, because when you're doing it live, you're stuck into certain times that you have to get it done.
That's true, and yeah, I didn't think about the other side of it where like if they have to cancel or something comes up, you're like, all right, well, if it's pre-recorded and edited, all right, well, how about tomorrow afternoon or whatever the day is? Right. So yeah, that's true on the foot. Yeah, maybe I didn't think about that. Maybe I did have a little more sensitivity on that where I'm just like, damn it, I got nothing now. What am I going to do?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the list of people that are coming on. And you could just be like, and you give me your list too, and I'll do something that won't conflict with yours.
Man, that's been some time now. I think we're good now. Yeah, but that was the context. I was like, the third, that's fine. The first two were up front, and that was annoying. But this is unacceptable, man. All right,
hey, thank you, Stephen and Courtney.
Definitely. Thank you, guys. Those of y'all that are just joining or didn't catch the beginning, all the super chats tonight go to Chris's quarterly fundraiser. This one is for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And every penny donated forget the YouTube fees. Chris and I are going to cover the fees that YouTube takes out. Whatever you guys donate is going to St. Jude's tonight. So as much as I always love super chats, we love them even more tonight. I appreciate it very, very much. Chris, you mind if we take just a second and pay a couple bills and give the sponsors a little more than 4 seconds each?
They're my guys too. So
I was going to say, I think they overlap, right? We got to actually talk about that, because I think brand associations are really, really important, and I think we got some really great people. So we should dive into that. But guys, Redline shipping, if you haven't tried them, I truly don't know what you're waiting for. At this point, you should at least know that you should try them out. They're new enough in the market where they're different in the disruptors, but they've been around long enough. And especially with Robin's background, if you don't know Robin's background, he's the guy that pretty much invented Reptile shipping and the relationship with FedEx and passing on savings and that whole business model. And Redline shipping is his and his alone. Try out Redline shipping. Proper 5 will get you $5 off your next shipping label. But even if you use that, if you don't use it, your experience is going to be phenomenal. It's like concierge service. You need to know when to ship, call them, ask them how to pack it, call them and ask them. These are reptile people shipping reptiles. So Redline shipping, thanks so much on a personal note to Robin. It was a great time out in Denver. I appreciate it. Speaking of disruptors and doing things the right way and caring for customers, how about Charlie at shedtesting.com? I love this guy's story. Go check out the shows that he's been on with me or with Chris. Just you listen to his story and you're like, man, I want to be a part of what this guy's doing. He is making his own genetic tests. He is making his own, I think I'm a layman, genome map. Sounds good to me. But he is testing them. He's doing the tests himself. He handles the customers and he gets your results back like fast. When the competition has to advertise that they have certain genes that they'll get to you fast, and Charlie's is faster than all of that, go see Charlie. He just released the puzzle test, VPI Xanthic and genetic stripe. And I think it's public news now, but Monsoon is not far around the corner. He's doing the verification test to make sure that the test that he has is accurate. So imminently, it will be there. And I'll let him break that news, but I know it's been publicly chatted about, so I don't feel bad sharing it. Also, Robbie, Argen Reptiles down in Greer, South Carolina, an excellent guy in the hobby. He and I have done some business in the past on some snakes, and he's been on the show. Check him out. Robbie is working with DG, Pied, and Clown, and the Dark Genes. If you're interested in Blackhead and Stranger in combos with DG, Pied, and Clown, singles, doubles, and triples, go talk to Robbie. Very focused, excellent, high-quality collection that Robbie's creating, and an excellent person. Portuguese Pythons, those are alumni from 15 Minutes of Fame. 15 Minutes of Fame. I screwed it up. Lame. And if you want to see something real lame, you should see me trying to do the mustache like Danny has at Portuguese Pythons.
That was great. Yeah.
Danny and Renee Rocha out at Portuguese Pythons in Chino, California, working some great high-quality Ultramel projects. They just had a super blackhead clutch of Ultramels hatch out. I have a 1.3 Pied Ultramel project from them as well. So not only sponsors, definitely a believer in their product. Excellent people. And again, check out their episode, both on my show and on Chris's 15 Minutes of Lame segment. Trevor in Aurora, Colorado. I got to meet him at the Denver show. Another excellent person. He's been keeping reptiles for over 20 years, breeding ball pythons for 15, vending with his kids. It was awesome to see. And I don't know what it is. If you like the colors that remind you of the 80s, man, all you got to do is look for the brightest, neonest color in the room, and that's Trevor's booth. But he's working some excellent projects. Trevor has Puzzle, Ultramel, Clown, VPI Xanthic, and Tri-Stripe, as well as Monsoon, Zebra, and Sunset. Trevor will be the guest on next week's show here on Proper Royals Live. Like I say,
I can help him. I'm calling him this week.
That's right. Get him on a contract. Have him on 15 Minutes of Lame so he cancels on me. I dare you, man. I will tip your off trail wheelchair right on its side.
I'm calling him.
I'm calling him right now. Last but not least, not to get lost in anything, is Chris at B and S Reptilia, the very original sponsor. Chris talked about long-term relationships. Chris at B and S Reptilia. That's Chris Shelley, is a perfect example of that. Just somebody that took faith in me early on. We now vend together at Tinley, and Chris specializes in all sorts of species. Ball pythons, boa constrictors, locality boas, pituophis, colubrids. The pituophis is bull snakes, pine snakes. And I know that he looks for new species every year to start breeding as well. Great guy, great family. He's out in Pennsylvania. If he can help you, he's also the distributor for the Chipper there in Pennsylvania. And if you're not checking out Chris's content, Chris Eaton's content, that is, Snakes and the Fatman, now rebranded as the Fatman Nation. Check it out. I don't think he needs any introduction, but all the links are down below if you're interested. You just have to go to thefatmannation.com. That's thefatmannation.com. So, Chris, tell us about what's this? It's a great thumbnail, but I admit I've never watched it. What is this? My one black friend, my one white friend. That seems to be a pop culture show. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a pop culture. It's a show that we had tried 4 or 5 years ago, and it was only getting 200 views or whatever, because the pop culture people, there's a lot of alphabet people in those groups, right? There's a lot of There's a lot of easily offended people in that group, right? And it just didn't work. Okay. Upstate, New York. Wow,
Pete,
thank
you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
We got to be hang on. We got to be flirting with like 300 here. 120, 170, 190, 195 from Charlie from Reagan Renee. 215, 235, 285. We're at right there, guys. And like Chris and I said, we're going to make up the fees, so all 285 will go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Yeah. Guys, let's kick ass. Get it up to 500 tonight. Do me
a
favor.
Baby.
Get it up for 500, and it's for the kids. And listen, everybody knows I don't like kids. Okay, but everybody knows. All right, kids are annoying. Kids are very me. Like, I'll be impressed with a kid when a kid asks me how my day is going. Okay, instead of telling me about his kid or his day. But you know what's worse than an annoying child is a cool child with freaking cancer, man. So help these dudes out, man. I mean these dudes. If you ever even saw a video where they're just strolling through the halls of St. Jude's, like, you got to think to yourself, holy shit, I gotta do something to help these people out. Look at Chris with $100
right
Bam.
there. Bam. That's how it's done. Okay. And we got another 150 there. That is I think we're $15 short of 500 now. You called it, Chris.
You guys rock. Thank you so much, man. And normally I ask everybody to come join my Patreon. I don't even want you to do that. I mean, you can if you want, but instead take that money and donate it to St. Jude's tonight, and we raised over, I think, $1,200 for the Hero Project.
Cool.
Because we sold something like 60 bracelets or tags, and they got me on some kind of commission thing, and I'm going to show everybody what my commission was. On the $1,200, my commission was only like $80, but I'm going to bring it up to $200 and send it right back to the Hero Project too. And everybody's going to see that, because a lot of these dudes will have the show where they're like, every super chat is going to US ARC, and you never see the proof of that shit ever, So there's been one night where I saw a dude raise over $1,300 for US ARC, and man, I never saw, when you raise money for US ARC on my show, I tell you to go to US ARC and just send me a receipt of the donation. This way they get the full donation, on everything. So thank you, tradesmen. Thank you, High Vis.
Yeah,
you guys are killing it. Thank you, Gray Rider. One thing can I say something about Gray Rider real quick?
Oh, you can say, well, I mean, as long as it's good, he pays.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason he's on the good list.
I love Charlie. The reason is that he reminds me of like the throwback to remember when I mean, I don't know how old you are. You're probably younger than me, but I remember the Windows versus Mac wars.
Oh, yeah.
When that came out, and Bill Gates said one time, he goes, I'm working on something where any kid in the garage could put me out of business tomorrow. And what Charlie is doing reminds me of that, because Charlie came in like as such a disruptor that I was just like, I love it. And I loved it even more because I interviewed the big guys and I was like, you guys prepared for scaling? And they were so arrogant with me. And they were like, oh, we don't got nothing to worry about with scaling. Yeah. Meanwhile, 4 months later, you still haven't got your fucking shed test results back yet. And Charlie's getting this shit back in like 2 weeks. Okay.
No,
so
and honestly, even faster most of the time. And just I'll share. It's not a private. I mean, it was a private conversation, but there's nothing private about it or nothing like sensitive about it. A customer of mine was like, Adam, I want to use shedtesting.com, but I don't think that he tests for Spectre. And I'm like, well, there's probably no demand for Spectre. Why is he going to invest the money for it? Yeah. But I'll go check. And Charlie's like, oh yeah, I can. I don't list it, but yeah, I could take care of that for him. I'll do it. Just tell him to get in touch with me and I'll update the website in a week. I was like, that was this afternoon. That was, 20 minutes. Boom. There's the answer. And before Charlie and I were ever in business together, our communication was just that clear. And anyway, I'm a believer and I use it. And actually, I got to send Charlie some money because I'm about to send him another envelope full of shed tests again. So, I definitely love his story. I love his style and I love what he's, like I just told him when we discussed our deal, I was like, I just want to be a part of this and see us succeed. However I can do that, man, let's figure this out. And so I love having him on for sure.
Yeah. Charlie's great.
Also to be noted, I clicked on the 1999, but that 1999 was when I said I thought we were about $15 short of 500 because he'd already given the $49.99. So he wanted to put us over 500, which Jen and Tito also at the same time were trying to get on. So now we're at like the 550 mark. We can get it. We can go higher if we want, but I want to say
750.
Yeah, let's keep it going. There's nothing to be scared of here. It's going to a good thing. So, Charlie, I don't know when you sleep or how you sleep or if you sleep, but I know trying is the understatement. Oh, look at Ty. Yeah, baby. We are going to be.
I fucking love it.
Our dinner budget is going down, Chris, as we pay for these.
Well, it's pretty funny because I keep upping like your money. I'm like, yeah, 750. Let's go.
I promised you I was good for it. And hey, for the record, guys, Chris didn't put any pressure on me. I truly love that idea. And I told Chris, I wish I was better about it. And until I get better about it, I want to support other people that are good about it. So let's do it. I'm proud. And I've had a good run. So fine. I'm with it. What about, so this, what in the world pop culture? What kind of trash do you talk on your pop culture show? Are you going to talk about like the Met Gala this week or something? What are you talking about here?
Well, we talk about everything. Originally, what got us in trouble was during COVID. I found out real early that you couldn't say COVID on any of the podcasting platforms.
Somebody was saying that the other day because I had COVID. I had the COVID breeders in my title. They were like, "Yeah, your show came with a warning.
You'll get demonetized right away, right? Because they're worried that you're spreading misinformation." Mm-hmm. So I was like, "All right, we won't say COVID." So I said the Kung flu, okay? And man, the Asians came at us hard, right?
Okay.
So we stopped doing the show for a while, but I didn't know that the show was still on Spotify. And people that were looking for me on Spotify came across my one black friend and my one white friend, and it was audio only. And if you've seen us, you know why it was like that. So enough people asked me to start it again, and I had Duncan on the show because he hosts another pop culture podcast now. and they were like, you got to bring back you and Duncan. You got to bring back, you know, you and Donato. You got to bring back, you know, you and all these other people. So we brought back my one black friend, my one white friend, and we've been killing it. We've been getting about, you know, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 views on the 2 episodes that we got, but we got 3,000 and 3,600, I think, audio downloads on it.
Wow.
So it really, so that's what I was talking about, meaning that, you know, I could use the base that I've done with Snakes and a Fat Man and bring it to other things. And my one black friend and one white friend is great because we have a segment called like, is it racist?
Right.
And, you know, I got a black guy on the show, so I'm going to know for sure now if it's racist or not, right? Instead of me just thinking that it might be, you know, now I'm going to know for sure. And then we got other segments on the show, and then we review TV shows on the last 45 minutes or the last half of the show, movies and TV shows, and it's just fun. It's basically me hanging out with my high school friend. That's all it is.
I was going to ask, what's the connection between you two? You guys went to high school together?
Went to high school. We played high school football together. And it's so funny because like three years into Snakes and a Fat Man, some big guy came to me and said, I really like the show and I want to sponsor you. But, you know, it's not about doing a show with your friends, Chris. Okay. You got to reach out to other people. And I was like, why shouldn't it be doing a show with my friends? Like, that's when I have the best time doing it, you know?
Right.
So I told that guy to F off, and I shouldn't have. I mean, he was probably bigger in the reptile industry as a whole. All right. Now, you know, now that I look back, but that's what I just want to start doing. I want to have shows with people that I like, people that I enjoy. You know, Shane and I are going to do an audio only Patreon podcast also.
Oh, cool.
And, you know, it's just, you know, these are people that I've known for years and like hanging out with. And there's something to be said about you're able to be yourself, you know, with someone. Right. Like you with your morning show. Yeah. Right. Like you could tell you're totally just being yourself with that guy. When I mean, you've had the guest where you got to pull every ounce of information out of them, or
say, you know, there's nights where you drag people along, and there's nights where you pull them back, right? And then there's some nights where it just flows together, and those are the best, man.
Right. Well, that's actually what Krisha said to me about you today, this afternoon. She was like, I really like Adam. He seems like he always has something to say. He's interesting. And you guys seem like you get along. And I think that's because of the music thing. I don't think it's because of the snake thing. And I was like, yeah, that's probably why, you know, because as a musician, it doesn't matter what kind of music you like or what kind of music I like. They could be totally different. You have that respect for that person right off the bat because they learned the process of being a musician, and they know what it's like to, you know, spend every Friday night when you're 12 years old practicing the G chord and not going out on dates and, you know, not going, you know, or anything like that. So, and I think that's probably true to some extent, you know.
I think so. And I think like the best example, I try and tell people sometimes, like, for example, if somebody brings up the Foo Fighters, I'll say like, you know, I think they're awesome for rock and roll, but I could only name like 2 of their songs. I don't know anything. I don't.
Yeah, I can't name them either. Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, I think they're very important. They're probably doing some of the most rock and roll stuff out there. They're like carrying the torch right now. They're touring, they're keeping on. They play with enthusiasm. I don't think there's an ounce of fake in Dave Grohl. But I don't know. I don't know anything they've done in the past 20 years, you know, and maybe longer. But it's like what you're talking about. I have the respect for them because of what I see them doing and what I see them going out there doing. And I don't know, but by all accounts, Dave Grohl seems to be a pretty good dude about, you know, carrying music on.
Such a good guy. I've actually been to his house. Wow. I was friends with Dimebag's ex.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, we're going to a party at Dave Grohl's house. And like 11:30, Dave came outside where everybody was hanging out by the pool. And he's like, all right, we got to close shop. I got to, you know, wake up early and drive the kids to school tomorrow. And from that minute, I was like, man, this guy's all right. You know, this guy's a normal dude. You know, this is like a normal dude with money, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I have respect for them, but I can't name.
Yeah, I don't
2
know
or
what
3
they're
songs
doing.
from him. I have no idea.
But I tell you, I almost, so my dad's a musician, and one of his favorite bands is the Pretenders, and he's a nut for Chrissy Hind. And if I were my dad's age, I would be a nut for Chrissy Hind.
Right,
I'm
right.
a little nut for Chrissy Hind anyway,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, but the Foo Fighters are taking the Pretenders out to open for them this summer. And
Yep.
I was like, my father would never spend the money to go see any kind of arena concert. And he's never seen the Pretenders. And I'm like, I'm going to fly him to Minnesota and we're going to go see the Pretenders and the Foo Fighters. So I still am wrestling with it, but I think we might do that this summer.
You should do that. Yeah. You should definitely do that. Yeah. Yeah, relationship with your father is fucked. Like I have a horrible relationship with my father, but he does everything for me. You know, like but I've spent the last 50 years trying to make my father laugh, and my father has not laughed one time in his life.
Oh no.
Okay? And he's retired now. He likes just sitting around doing nothing. But I couldn't even, you know, what am I going to go? I'm going to say, Dad, we could go to a Del James concert together, which I would go to, right? But I think Del James is dead, right?
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to get any more of those concerts.
Yeah, so then I just start reminding my father, I'm like, tick tock, motherfucker, you better do something fun with me, you know? So yeah, because I've asked him, I was like 6 years ago when I first moved, or 8 years ago, one of the first things I did when I came back is like, I'm going to need to do like a father-son thing with this guy before he dies. Right.
Right.
So I was like, tell me what you want to do and we'll go do it. I'm like, you want to go shark fishing? We'll go shark fishing. You know, because I'd love to catch a fish and then club it to death. Right. Like that just seems like it would be fun. I was like, you want to go see the pyramids? You know, we'll go see the pyramids. And he goes, if I want to see the pyramids, I'll just turn on the television and watch an Egyptian documentary.
Right.
And I'm like, so you're telling me that you think that seeing the pyramids and watching it on TV is the same thing? And my father's so boring. He's like, yeah, exactly the same thing. And I'm just like, yeah, I got no hope with you. So I just stopped trying. I just stopped trying.
No, my dad and I, we have a good relationship, but we see some expenses in our time and all of that stuff a little bit differently. And like I say, there's no equation where my dad's, and he's an incredible musician and a music nut. There's no equation where he's going to spend that money to go see any band. So anyhow, I might have to work that out. You said earlier about the Fatman Nation being sort of like a network. So are you like, how do you envision this in the future? Do you think you're going to bring on like affiliate stations or other people that will use your branding?
Love to do that. I would love to do that, but you got to understand how the YouTube payment process works. Okay. Well, like Adam is not going to see any of this money until next month. On the 21st, I believe, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Right.
And we're 6 weeks out on it. Yeah.
Right. And then they take half of it right away. So I don't know how I would like to, but like a couple of guys that competed in 15 Minutes of Lame put out that they do a podcast right now called The Lamest Chat.
Yeah. It's like Jared and Gerald, right?
Jared, Gerald, Paul, who actually won.
Yeah,
and Chris over at East Valley Exotics.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's a decent show. I mean, they don't take advice for shit. I'll tell you that. They got the dumbest logo that I've ever seen in my fucking life. But when they said they were going to start doing that show, I thought it was cool because it was like cool, like a Snakes and a Fat Man spinoff almost. You know, like a Young Sheldon. You know, kind of. You know, kind of thing. And you know, I would love to have them on my my network. I would love to have people that are just coming into it that want to do something creative and different. I would love to give them like a jump start, you know, on the show. Yeah. And I don't really want anything from them. Believe me, the fucking Lamest Chat is not making, you know, $400 a night in super chats. Okay.
Well, no, I was about to say, it's not like, sorry, audience, let's pull the curtain back here. I I think my take home each month is somewhere, if I'm lucky, around $90, and they won't pay that until you crack 100. So it's like every 2 months I get like $170
Yeah.
for good months kind of deal. So it's like, I think it would be a good starting place for people, even if they were just like, I'm not even like, they're not giving up that much money. Like the benefit they would get just being like brand aligned with you is even stronger. We got Canadian money coming in for the cause too.
It's $4. Add $4 to the total, right?
But that's only going to be like $1.60 in fees, so that's okay too, man.
Yeah, thank God for Gerald. All right, fucking thank you, Gerald.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, man. I could have been more gracious about that.
Good guy. I mean, he's such a good guy. He's probably, him and his wife are probably my two favorite Canadians. You know?
Guys were brutal to Gerald in this oh my, when you were like, you and Steven were on the show promoting the documentary, and you were like, why won't you do 15 minutes of lame, Adam? Come on. I'm like, absolutely not. You're gonna massacre me if I get on. I'm afraid. You're like, you think you're too good? I'm like, no, I don't have the skin to deal with you guys. Like,
yeah, but
it's
the way we show love, you know.
I know.
You know, like
tough
like
love,
Gerald
man.
is one of those rare guys that'll just take all your ripping and laugh at it too. Like, because I did a lot of wrong shit to him last year. You know, like when he competed in the 15 minutes of lame, I just said, all right, hold on, I'm gonna tap out, and I had Justin interview him. So fucking he didn't know what the fuck to do, right? So he just started insulting Justin, right? Like that was great. He's like, you're late to the game with your little clutch bullshit. He goes, he goes, husbandry pros killing it up here, you know. And he was just telling Justin everything he did wrong, and he still was in the last the top 3.
Yeah,
you know,
no, he did great with his the farm content, and like, yeah. And that's the other thing too, is I would drop the ball on the content. The work that the people that really take it seriously do is really, really cool, man. I had you're going to wonder what this has to do with anything. I had a GM once, and we were interviewing a manager, and she had gone to like Brown University or something. And in the interview, she was like, yeah, I don't really know why I did. I'm never going to use that. And the GM lost it. He was like, you took a seat that somebody else worked their ass off for and didn't get into because you got in. And now you're telling me you don't even care and you didn't make anything of it. And that's how I feel when people don't take like the spot that you give them seriously and waste it. Like, it's such a brand building moment to go through that process, win, lose, or draw, as long as they participate.
Well, right. That's what I think too, because like Corey Martin was one of the in season 1 of 15 minutes. And I'll be goddamned if people don't know who Corey Martin is now. Like, Corey Martin is almost a household name now with the monitors and everything else. You know, she's killing it, and yeah, she pivoted a little bit, but you know, Jeremy was a contestant in season 1.
Yeah, yeah.
So these are all people that you've heard of now. They didn't win Shane one, but these are all people that you know about, and I'm not saying that it'll catapult you into Justin level shit. But it's a nice little check mark to have, you know, on your thing, on your resume, saying, you know, I won this. And what people forget with the contest, with the 15 minutes contest, is the clips and the IGs and everything, the reels that everybody does. That's maybe like 10 or 15% of what the judges look at. Like, if you don't have a collection to back up your shit, you know, they're not going to pick you, no matter how funny your reels were, you know. So people tend to forget about that, because I had some inbred fuck from Tennessee saying like, oh, what is the best breeder of the year? Have to win a popularity contest now. And I'm like, I'm just like, I'm sorry, who are you? You know, and with a question mark. And that's like my standard comeback.
Well, and everybody, I still go back to, like, even when people get annoyed at some other, like, just change the channel. Just watch something else then. Like, what do you write? You write an email every time that there's a bad sitcom that you didn't like the episode of? Like, who? I don't get it. I don't get the time and effort that people put into being irate. It drives me bonkers.
Dude, I get a dozen DMs a week telling me to go kill myself still, like now. Like go kill yourself. I wish you were dead and then you didn't just lose a leg. Like this dude, like I remember one time we were playing some festival or whatever, and a dude threw a bag of shit on stage, right?
Oh,
and I was just thinking, like, how mad is this guy that at his house
he went through the logistics of it
in a bag, tied it up, brought it to the festival. But like, how much does he hate us, right? And that's the way I think of it when I get the emails. And my standard response is like, yeah, but I sell a lot of shirts, man. You know, and that just infuriates them more. And they, you know, they tell me how I should die. That's why with Bronx Down Under, we had a read mean Instagrams about ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just funny to fucking read them. I think we're gonna do that for my one black friend too.
I mean, like it really is content gold. And I don't know if you like say who the people are or not, but
oh yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, you should. But man, like I say, I don't understand the timing of it. And I really don't get much, to be honest with you. And I probably play it a little safer than some other people do. But let me tell you, in the restaurants, that was brutal, man. Oh, I remember the day in my life where I knew that Food Network was going to be a success, because my life took a step down in quality just day to day, because everybody was an expert on everything else that they thought, you know, like it's just unreal. And I'm like, you know nothing. You watched a 30-minute show from Rachel Ray and you're going to tell me? You're like, get out of here. You have no earthly idea.
That's what I think about these new ball python breeders when they're telling you how to do it. You know, $80 till $750. Let's fucking play that up.
All right, there we go. We got to get 80 more bucks. There's 30 cents. That's $2 a piece, guys. $2.10 a piece gets us all over the top.
Damn, you really are a business guy. You're like, that's $2.10 a piece
for everybody. Well, you got to, I don't know, you got to sell it. I don't know any, I think we milked all the $80 caliber people.
Well, we got 36 of you here right now. So let's just hit that 80.
We could do that. All right.
What I'm really hoping is just at the end of the show, somebody just snipes in $80.
Boom. Yeah. Or makes it painful for you and I. We're like, oh my God, the fees. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah. Somebody gives $500.
Right. They're like,
like, thank you. Right.
Yeah. My opinion on auctions will officially change, and tomorrow there will be one. Hey, talk to me some about, I tend to be a bit of a lone wolf. I guess it's a control freak thing. I don't really think of it that way. I think of it as I like things a certain way and I, you know, less variables, but you do a lot of projects with a lot of different people. And it seems like some go really well and some don't. And some at the same time, like them not going well was part of the success. And then you're all buddies again. That seems almost band-like. Like, is there a parallel with music there too?
Well, yeah. I remember when we got signed and we lost a drummer and we were interviewing drummers and one drummer came in and he set up a double kick and I knew I wasn't going to like him already. I was like, oh, metal jerkhead, you know? And he goes, listen, Chris, I was just thinking that during this part of the song, I know it's recorded this way, but I was going to do a fill here, right? And I just said to him, I go, oh, is that what you think? All right, pack your shit up and get the fuck out. Right? So with the content stuff, basically everybody knows like you learn a lot more from your failures than you do your successes. Right. Like, and I just think like it's a learning curve. Like some people I thought were way more professional than they were. And then there's other people that shocked the hell out of me and were way more professional than I would have ever thought from watching them. But like the first time I met Steven, I knew he did great visual content, right? Mm-hmm. But the first time I met him or the first time I saw him on YouTube, I was like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? He's been doing this for 6 months and he's telling people how to sell ball pythons. Like fuck this guy, right? And I thought I would like Courtney way more than Steven. But it turned out when I met them in Tennessee, man, I like Steven way more than Courtney. Right? Courtney is mean. She's fucking abrasive. She's very, very, very mean. She's doing a new podcast now called Partho. And I think that Shane is going to be on it tomorrow night. So if everybody could please go over there and watch that, because her and Molly, who's Chase's sister or cousin from Canova, they do a really good job. They had 1 week where they did Bob Bledsoe, and they did a really good job with that. But Courtney and Steven were the most professional people that I've ever met, because the first time I met them, they were recording something for me and Shane. They were going to record something that they were doing for me and Shane. And they showed up at the hotel, I mean, with lights, 3 cameras, you know, a GoPro to back up everything, you know, professional mic. Like the front desk at the hotel had to think we were shooting a porno, because they brought fucking all these lights in.
Oh, you guys were in the hotel room?
We were in the hotel room.
Oh, yeah, they definitely thought that then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nobody just brings that on vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So they were the most professional people. And then I started working on another project with Steven. And Steven is one of those guys where if you do a project with him and you expect things to get done your way, you could just let this guy go. And this guy will do it sometimes better than what you expected. I know that documentary was way better than I thought it would turn out to be.
I mean, yeah, I mean, when you signed on, like, you had to be thinking like, all right, there's a little chance this could be good, but this also could look like every other YouTube video in the world out there.
Like Dave Kaufman's piece of shit. Yeah, well, that looks like every other video that you've been shooting for the last 5 years.
For the record, Dave's been good to me. I'm cool with him. You know, we're good.
No, fuck him. And I'm like, I gotta pay JT from Reptile to walk behind me at every show that I know Dave's gonna be at, because I just expect Dave to be like, "Hey, Chris," and then swing at me like with a chair, like Mankind would, you know. So, I'm only kidding. I love Dave, even though he gave an attitude when they asked him to put a sticker on my leg. But it's okay. It's Steven and Courtney. The first time they sent me the first 15 seconds or minute of the final video. Yeah. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I will do whatever this dude asks me to do from now until the end of time. So fucking Steven is that good, and Courtney at everything they do, that you buy from them, you buy with confidence. You work with them, you could work with confidence. And really, the only thing that I had to do with that movie was they just thought it would be fun to show the process, you know? Yeah. And when they asked me, I was like, yeah, you know, even if it's a shitty movie, at least I'll get you know, I'll get some you know, play out of it. But I had no idea it was going to be that good. I mean,
it was incredible. And Steven will throw out ideas at me, and I'm kind of like you're describing now, where I'm like, hey, if you say you want to do it, man, I'm in. I'm on board.
Yeah, just do it.
And so he was like, let's stream Proper Royals live from Daytona. And I was like, brilliant. That sounds great. I'll do it in the evening. I'll vend in the day, and then we'll go hang out at the hotel, because it's just one hotel at Daytona. I mean, it's so massive, you know? And I was like, this is perfect. And I walk into the bar in the hotel, and it looked like a newsroom. He's got like 4 cameras, the lights, and he's like, all right, Adam, and he's like, I'm going to play producer. If I hold up 2, I want you to look at that camera. If I hold up 1, and I'm like, holy, like, I have 1 camera here, and it's the most expensive camera I've ever had. But I also, I think it was Steven told me, it's the best camera for the dumbest people. And I was like, perfect. That's the one.
You have the Canon.
Yeah, the Canon M50. That's it. Turn it on and I'm done. That's it. I don't do anything else with that camera. I turn it on. That's it. There's times where he's like, you know, you could change the ISO and the FPS. And I'm like, yeah, I could. I'm not going to, though. It's all it does, man. How about, okay, so we got Keith at Creative Genetics. He is a sponsor on Proper Cup of Joe. So thanks very much. We got 10. Gecko's Diva.
That's Crystal 13. From VIP Mark. She's Gerald's wife.
Oh, look at that. Okay. So more Canadian. That's 14 loonies. Do they still have the loony coins up there? Is that still what they use? I think so. I don't know if you know, my mother's from Guelph, Guelph, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. So I got both citizenships if I ever need it, that's true, actually. And then Jen, $10 from High Viz.
Awesome too.
And that is another 10 from Jen.
Yeah, she did 10 before.
Donated earlier. Yeah, I think 20, matter of fact. So that's pretty good. Yeah, Gecko Diva says, Crystal says, yes. I think that's in reference to the loonies. All right, guys, I think we need like $1 a minute. We're down to like not too much time here. I do have to, speaking of taking the kids to school, I do have to get my son to bed. Timothy was the first one that donated, and now another $10 comes in.
I love Timothy Lesher. Okay. Fucking good guy, man. Good guy. He bought Bronx Down undershirts. He bought a bunch of different shit. Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Does he have how it's such a weird world? We know people's names, we know like their Instagram handle, and then we know like their brand. And it could be 3 different things. Does he have the other 2 things?
No, I don't think so. I think he's a ball python fan, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he has to be a ball python owner, I guess, if he's coming to our shows, right? So
probably, yeah.
So yeah, no, but he's always been support. Look at this.
There we go, Danny.
Dania, yeah, baby, that got to get us up over. Danny is awesome as hell, man. He's out in Texas. I met his wife first in Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, his wife is hot as fuck, right? And I was thinking, I was like, holy shit, I got a chick fan coming to hug me. And I was like, I'm gonna get some tonight, right? And then she's like, my husband loves you. And I'm like, oh, god damn it. Right. So yeah, so that's how we met. But Danny is fucking awesome, man. He's been great, big supporter of mine, him and his Anna, his wife. I love them both to death. If you need a good ball python, check out Danny's shit. He's got I'm gonna use a young word. He's got some fire. All right,
the fire. That's right. Everything is fire. That's right.
Everything's fire and everything's family now. What's up, fam?
Just fam, not family. Just fam. Just fam. Chris, tell people where they could check you out, what you got going on. While you're doing that, I'm going to tally this grand total here, and we will we'll make that little announcement in just a second.
Okay. Fatman Nation. You could go to fatmannation.com. You could go to Fatman Nation on Instagram, Patreon. I think even on Facebook, but I'm not sure. That's about it. That's all I'm doing now. I just dumped a ton of the old Snakes and the Fat Man Patreon videos on the Fatman Nation Patreon today. So if you can, go there and get the $5 a month thing, and you could see all those videos. There's a bunch of conversations with me and Donato. There's a series I have called Shitting On, where I just shit on ball python jeans. And then we have a series called It Doesn't Matter, where I have guests on and we talk about ridiculous things that somehow garner high opinions from each other. So like you could hear me discussing like my top 5 cryptids with Rudy Delgado from Rude Dog Reptiles, top 5 fast food places with Eric Marksteller from whatever the fuck his company's name is. Heidi Dunlap, we top 5 sitcoms of all time. It's just fun stuff. If you want to laugh, join the Patreon. If you want information, join Adam's Patreon. Because Adam's more geared towards the business end of it. I'm more geared towards making a shitty week a little bit better for you guys. So I'd love it if you join the Patreon. I'd love it if you just sign up for the Fatman Nation newsletter. And we're doing a bunch of cool stuff in the next 6 to 8 months. So it's gonna be fun. So, but Instagram everywhere else, the Fatman Nation.
Chris, keep it going. I know I have not been at it even half as long as you. I know it takes dedication is more. I don't know the right word I'm looking for. there's days where it gets old and it's hard to avoid burnout, and to see you keep doing it, keep reinventing yourself is really cool. And not to mention you got shit going on in the background while you're, you've had a little something going while, through all of this. So keep it up. And I know that you're not into all this, feeling stuff, but it is pretty inspirational to see, man. And I think it's pretty cool. And so you give a lot of us something to look forward to. And I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate your efforts with St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Hey, our your little shindig here tonight, $717.
Oh, somebody come in with $45. Okay. Somebody.
And make it easy math for me. It's hard adding 27 on top of when I had a good thing going with 10s, 50s, 25s, 20s. Then there was a 27 and the $14 one. It got a little bit tough. Yeah. How about this? Whatever we divvy up, I throw another 33 on top, and that gets us
no. Let's just split the difference to make it 750.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be 750 all in. And like I say, guys, I think that you all probably heard it if you were donating, but we're
upstate New York.
That is Pete. Holy cow. I didn't mean to scream into the mic. Sorry, guys, if you're listening later or have headphones or something. Okay, Pete, cheers. Thank you so much. I'm going to figure out how to record this screenshot or something. I'll make sure that everybody that donated gets a little screen time on the channel. Guys, thank you so much. Those of y'all that didn't hear earlier, every penny of what's donated will go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Chris and I are going to make up the fees. And thanks for what you're doing, Chris.
I'll tell you what, let's add to that. Anybody who donated tonight, DM me on Instagram and I'll get you on 15 minutes of lane before the end of the year this year.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is not that everything has to be transactional, but if it is, you're getting way more than your money's worth out of that, guys. From Chris.
Well, this is, I mean, everybody really stepped up tonight. So yeah, remember, fucking, you don't got to put out somebody else's light for you to still shine. So fucking anybody who gave tonight, DM me on IG and we'll get you on 15 minutes.
Man. All right, guys. On that note, then we're going to end it. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Chris. This is cool hanging out. When do we get to hang out in person? You're going to do Tinley still, or are you still going to see how things go health-wise?
I'm hoping Tinley. I would love to do Daytona. Would love to do that. Are you going to Daytona this year?
No, I was going to, but I'm signed up for a show here in town, and I'm already booked for it. I'm not going to go to it, but. That they're re-auctioning. I've heard that Freedom Breeder's putting the guitar that Jeremy Bod got from me and did all the work on that you did the promo for.
Right.
I've heard that that's going back on the block again to make a bunch more money for US Arc at Daytona.
That was bullshit that it only got $2,500 that first time. I was so disappointed with that.
But last year, I think it cracked like 17,000.
Oh, no shit. Okay. Go.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Eugene Bissett picked it up that first year, and then he got it in the hands of the US Arc Florida guys, Daniel Parker. And Daniel's actually a pretty ripping guitarist, man. And he did a great job promoting it. Somebody bought it for $9,000 or $10,000 and then redonated it immediately. And Jesse bought it for another $8,000 or $9,000 from Freedom Breeder.
That's great.
So not guaranteed, but word on the street is it's going back in this year. So how cool was that?
Yeah, that's really cool. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It's like the snake thing at Daytona.
The cane. Yeah. The walking stick. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Good for you.
Well, that's all Jeremy, man. Anyway. Yeah. So I'm excited to see that. I don't know if things fall through or truthfully, if I make a bunch of money before then and I can afford to cancel this show, I'll go do it. But I don't think that I'll be doing it. But I guess I'll never say never. My dad is up the road like an hour away. So I definitely will be in that area sometime. But I just don't think it's going to work that weekend.
Can I give a quick shout out to Jeremy?
Bod? Yeah.
Jeremy Bod. Yeah. You guys have no idea how good Jeremy is. Like, none at all. I look at Jeremy and Jeannie, and I think to myself, like, they don't know how good they are. They're going to be top people within the next 3 years. Like, and I mean, they're riding high now. But Jeremy and Jeannie Bard, if you need anything, go to those guys, because Jeremy is probably one of the hardest working dudes that I've ever seen in this hobby, and he does so much shit outside the hobby for the hobby that I would love it if everybody supported Jeremy and Jeannie Bard. So gotta love them.
I second every bit of that, and they personally helped me. They were the first other breeders to invite me in their home to do like a facility tour. Jeremy still calls me, checks in on I'd just be like, you know, when somebody calls and you're like, shit, something must be wrong. Why are they calling me? And he's just like, yeah, just seeing how you're doing, man. I've, been watching your stuff. It's really good. And want to make sure you know that we miss you here in Florida. I'm like, you miss me? That's the other way around, man. Like, it's amazing. So we have one of Jeannie's geckos. The last time I saw her at Tinley, she's like, we bought that gecko like a year ago. I haven't talked to her a bit about the gecko. First thing she says is, hey, I got new water dishes. It's probably ready for an upgrade for a bigger size for it. I was thinking about you guys. And she handed me water dishes for my son's gecko.
Right. Yeah.
It's amazing,
Yeah, she's so awesome. Yeah, good people. A lot of good people here tonight. And that's, not just the people that donated, but all the people here.
Yeah.
They're just really good people, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. And I tried to keep it as clean as I can tonight. Sorry for the few slips, but this is a new Fat Man. This isn't the old Fat Man. This is the new Fat Man. All right.
The new Fat Man.
Yeah. So,
Chris,
all right, guys, thanks again, man. Thank you, Adam, for the opportunity again. I'd love to do this with you. And we'll do something down the road together again. So
of course. Thank you so much, everybody. See y'all next week, unless Chris signs a no-compete clause with my guest. And otherwise, see y'all next time. Cheers.
I'm DMing him right now. All right.